Okay, there we go. Hello, hello, hello. Let me see.
You hoping to?
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, y'all. Welcome in, Dawn Emery. Hello. Okay, I'm telling y'all right now. Just hold on a second. Okay, here we go. I'm back in shape. Let me tell y'all something. I got my new glasses today. I don't mean to make it about me right here, right now, but honey, I can't I almost left them there, and I was trying to work on this computer. So give me a minute. I just swapped back to my readers for a minute. Hello, Dawn. Hello, Tina. Um, Susie. And hey, Jude. Hey, y'all. Okay, give me just a minute because I just come in. Somebody's like, "Are you not covering this trial today?" I'm like, "Oh my God," or the sentencing. I said, "Oh my God, I didn't know it was today. I had forgot about it." Um, and I was out. So just give me just a second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. Um, Hold on. There we go. There we go. All right, there we go. So I don't know if y'all heard all that or not, but anyway, I was out and I forgot. This seems like a Monday. It seems like a Monday. Let's see what's going on here. I literally see what's going on here. All right, I'm talking to myself, y'all. Excuse me. So I literally just sat down, turned my computer on, and had forgot that this was sentencing. But I told y'all I would be here to the very end. Hey, Twister, welcome in. Butterfly kisses. Kelly, the OG. We all went through this together. Hey, Janice, beautiful Janice. Janice, I don't know, you might want to alert anybody else because, honey, I ain't had time to do nothing. I just sit down. I am like, oh my God, are you serious? Robin, J. Marie, hello, hello. Good to see you. Trying to stay focused here. How are you doing, Twister? I'm glad to see you. Glad to see you. Okay, so I got some new glasses. I just can't get used to them on this computer yet. So I did. I got my new glasses. Just got to get used to them. And what they tell me, they said, don't go back and forth between your readers. Don't do that. First thing, I jump on here and I can't see shit. I got to pop these on. Oh my God. Y'all, I can't win for losing. I can't win for losing. I just can't. So y'all just bear with me. It's still the same. I almost left them up there a while ago because they accidentally put the line in them and they were supposed to be line free. And I think that's tripping me up. You know, look, I'm a weird person. So I think it's tripping me up when I look up or down. So they said, try them the weekend because if you leave them, it's going to take 2 weeks. I'm like, oh my God. I said, I'll try them, but I'm telling you. Hey, Gigi for life. Hello, welcome, welcome. So, y'all, what's been going on good with y'all? Anything? Anything good? Oh, there's my coffee. I started saying, see, I ain't even had, believe it or not, I ain't even had no coffee. This is my first cup of coffee today. Mm-mm. I've been running around. Y'all doing good? What y'all doing? Y'all just waiting on the sentencing? Miss Millie. Hello, everybody. Hello. Now I'm getting calls. I'm on the live. I gotta tell them. I'm on the live. Hold on. I tell them I'm on live. They're the ones that called me and asked me, was I covering this? Oh my God, I'm on live. What's been going on, y'all? What's been going on out there in the streets? Anything? Did y'all see the FBI, what the FBI put out last night? What is your input on that? What do you think about that? Or I don't think it was last night they put it out. Last night's when I saw it. Hey, nerdy girl. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, everybody. I still don't know what to think about it. I honestly don't. I don't even know what to say. I'm speechless, honestly. And when you find me speechless, then there you go. But 2 things are debunked, so there's that. Hey, where's Summer and Sebastian? Hello, hello, hello. Good to see you. Leslie, keep it real. You're sick in bed? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I hope you feel better. I hope you feel better soon. I mean, is it like just the flu or something? I hope everything's okay. And I feel so bad. Miss Dagley Tab come in here last night. I meant to call her. I need to check on her. So prayers out to everyone that needs prayers. Yeah, I hope it is. Yeah. There's some kind of new strain going around too, Leslie. That's what I heard. And it's not good. So, I don't know. So what do y'all think about this? Megan getting sentenced today. It'll be finally over, or do you think it's closure? What do you think? Nobody? Y'all know Megan killed her little 15-month-old baby. Look at that precious baby right there. What is wrong with all these parents, y'all? I don't get it. I really don't get it. That little girl, Resonate, too. I think that was her name. I might be saying it wrong. I was reading some more stuff on that, and oh my God. Hey, Stephanie. Did y'all see the piece where her real mom got on there and spoke? No, she don't get no pass from me either. I'm sorry. She gets 0 passes from me because she said she had other children. And then she's like, but I was there all the time, and she was just helping me get on my feet. And but then she turned around in the same breath and said, well, she was scared to take her to the hospital for the burn in her back, and it got infected, and she just threw her away because she was scared to take her or call 911 because she weighed like 45 pounds. And I was thinking, okay, in the same breath, you're going to say you're there all the time. You didn't notice she weighed like 45 pounds and was underweight. And then you're going to say your other kids was there too. Well, honey, you look just fine and healthy to me. That's what I was thinking. I don't know what's wrong with these people. I really don't. You know, why didn't you get some help for your daughter? And she didn't say, well, what about my other kids? Where they at? I hope they're fine. I hate they're in wherever, you know. None of that. None of that. But today is the guilty verdict and sentencing recommendation. What we're here for, Megan Bosewll. So, will she get the possibility of parole, do y'all think, or not? She could become eligible, but she'll be like way old. She'll be, hey, sidetrack. She'll be, well, 60s are not old, so let's slow down a minute. But for her, she'll be in her late 60s, somewhere about there, maybe 70. And what will she do? Probably her family and stuff will be dead. She gonna be an old bag. I said an old bag if she got parole. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. She burnt all of her bridges. She tried to blame her mom in this. Remember, she tried to blame her mom. She tried to blame her mom's boyfriend. She tried to blame everybody but the blue moon. You know. Hey, blue jeans and pearls. Hello, good to see you. So she's facing her sentencing today. Life in prison with parole or without parole, I don't know. I'm not gonna sit here and bash and bash and bash. She's a child killer too. She did that to that baby. I'm not gonna say in this one we sit here through the whole thing what she should get or shouldn't get. Like I sit there and say on Emmanuel and them, they shouldn't see the light of day. I don't feel no different. She shouldn't either, but I think by the time she's so young, by the time she does get out, she's not going to have no resources anyway, so it's not going to matter. She's screwed either way, you know. She has no conscience, she has no guilt, and she don't matter. What matters is getting justice for this baby, in my opinion. And I think that book closes today. Hey, Ginger Snap. Good to see you, honey. Great to see you. Y'all might hear mowing outside. My yard's getting mowed. Sorry about that. So, and it looks like it's going to rain too. So Megan, how old is she, Jay? She's when she did this, she was like 20 or let's see. Well, let's look it up. Hold on. Okay, when she did this, she was 23. Hold on. Okay, so her baby was 15 months old. Evelyn, and she was last seen around December 19th. And see, they didn't even report her missing until February. February 2020 is when she was reported missing. And her grandfather, remember, her grandfather reported her missing. I felt so sorry for him when we was watching the trial. I do. I don't think he had anything to do with nothing. But that delay raised a bunch of concerns and stuff, and it led to her Amber Alert, is what they're saying. That's what led to the actual Amber Alert. Yeah, it made me think of Casey Anthony too. And she just went on about her life. Hello, LG. Hello, hello. Good morning. Mary, good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. So they searched for Evelyn, and then they finally found her remains on the house. And oh God, we got some pictures. Hey, Annabella, honeys. Good afternoon. So, and we saw pictures that they probably shouldn't have showed at the time. I don't know who was in here, who wasn't, but we actually literally saw the same pictures that the jury saw, and it was horrible. It was so sad what they did to this baby. What she did to this baby. And then in August 2020, she was indicted. She was indicted on 19 counts she had murder. She had false reporting, just like Rebecca does. She has aggravated child abuse. She had all the things just so, they can make something, I guess, stick, but they had a body there. But Tennessee's real funny about if you don't have a body. I don't even know, honey, if y'all heard my call when I talked to the Miss Becky DA in Summer Wells case when she acted like she, never mind, but she worked there for 38 years. And, I can tell you right now, they're not going to do nothing about Summer until they have a body. They're just not. They're not. If Little Summer is passed away, I know some don't think she is, and I don't wish that on nobody, but I'm just saying, I've come to my senses and come to realize after all the things said and done, unless they find Summer, I don't think anything's going to happen. That's why I don't get into the mess of going back and forth with all this stuff that's going on right now. But that's just my opinion. I hope one day they find her, and I hope they find out what happened. But we already know. I do. And that's just me. But these people, I don't know. Yeah, I do too, Annabella. Oh my God. And the updated picture, that figure should be so beautiful. Twister said, in my opinion, accident cover up. Yeah. Well, accident or not, she still needs to be found. And I just wish somebody would come forward because, or, at least give an anonymous tip. I see old Shoe Shine's leaving. Old Shoe Shine is gone. He finally retired, huh? Finally retiring. So, yeah, I agree with Smiley Stories on Summers. I feel like that's what will happen in Sebastian. I hope not. I hope not. What I was feeling when they put that out, I don't want to say that, but I was feeling some type of way as to, they got this new DA in. I mean, listen, let's get real. Let's just get real here. They didn't say nothing that Brandon Carter couldn't have come out and said before when everybody's getting all riled up. That's all anybody was asking. It don't matter if you agree with it or you don't agree with it. It don't matter if you agree with Katie and Chris or you agree with Seth or you agree that somebody was here or somebody was there. It don't matter if they debunk this or they debunk that. None of that matters. Honestly, everything that I read and everything that was said and put out and everything that Brandon Carter, who was in charge of that investigation from the very start, and they threw Craddock's name in there, is absolutely nothing. Y'all see that wouldn't hinder the investigation. In fact, it debunked a few things like we didn't already know. But anyway, some of us. But it was nothing that they couldn't have come out and said. That's all. So I really don't know. I mean, there's not much I can say about it. I mean, okay, I'm not going to sit here and bash. I mean, they've come out and spoke. I mean, it is what it is. Please continue to try to find Sebastian. Please continue to do what you say you'll do. But that was kind of the first thought that I had, that, and also the thought about, well, they got the new DA, although I don't know how he's going to be. Thank you, Leslie. Keep it real. Thank you. Thank you for your support. So I don't know, if he was like, well, y'all, somebody needs to put out a statement. Somebody needs to do something. Let the FBI do it because that's what they want. They want the FBI. We can go back and forth and, although they're not in charge, let them be the mouthpiece. Or, I mean, that's just how I think. That's what I thought. Y'all want to know what I think? Then that's what I'm thinking, and maybe it didn't happen like that at all. Maybe not. I just I'm kind of speechless on it, to be honest. We are still having people saying the FBI is corrupt and cover. Well, here's the thing. Everybody's not corrupt. You might have one or two people everywhere, but listen, everybody's not corrupt. Just like every family's not bad because one person goes astray in the family, or a job. You don't need to shut down Walmart or Home Depot or something because you got one bad employee. What is all the chains going to go out of business because there's one rogue employee there? I mean, something like that. Everybody's got good and bad. But here's the thing. I'm so sick of hearing it. I'm just sick of hearing that everybody's bad. Is Sumner County screwed up and fucked up, and do they have some shady shit going on? Absolutely 100. Sorry. Yep, I believe it. Okay, Annabella. But people still saying the FBI. You're going to have all the FBI, the TBI, but you can't have it both ways. You can't have, I want the FBI, and then the FBI speaks, and then you can't bash the FBI. You know what I'm saying? Can't have it both ways. I mean, you can, but so it is what it is. It is what it is. I know Seth just wants his son found, and I want nothing more than to have justice in Sebastian's case and have Sebastian found. You're going to have little red O people out there that is still going to believe the flashlight stories. You're going to have people out there that still believe the green hoodie. And I'm not saying anything bad about anybody, but look, I never believed the lights, and I never understood. And I'm not ashamed to say I never understood all that about the lights. And half of my audience and creator people that I know and love dearly believe in those lights. But y'all never seen Smiley messing with the lights. You never really seen me even sharing, maybe one or two times, but you never see me even, because to me, that absolutely, to me, and that's only me, one and only, one-on-one, if we were standing here, just never made sense. That's just me. Now, if they're saying, and it kind of don't make sense that they say it's headlights, but if they've studied that and they say it's headlights, okay, then it's headlights. There is a hill up there, Green hoodie. I'm speechless on that. I don't even know what to say on that. I believe Green Hoodie didn't have anything to do with, or I don't know. It could have been a rug sale. I don't know, but you don't tell me that was not suspicious. So I don't know. It's just really weird. Where is this trial at? Are they still not on? Goodness gracious. Let's see. Let me double check something. Okay. Yeah, I think y'all don't let me miss it or something go wrong. I think it's like, theirs is saying like 3 minutes. Hey, Kiki, let's see. They have the date Sebastian went missing as February 26, 2025. It was, yeah, I know the date. The date. Yeah. And so many things have changed about the phone calls. You know what? I'm going to dig out that interview. I really am. I'm going to dig out that interview. And if y'all want to sit here and listen to it again, you can sit here and listen to it again. We'll go over it again. But so many things have change. And it's just amazing to me. Yeah, I mean, February 26th, that's when Katie called. And you know what was, I'll tell you what I did notice. I'm not going to get on no rage here or anything, but I tell you what I did notice. Now, I might be wrong. I might have skipped over something, but I think I read it perfectly fine. They kept saying her husband. They didn't really mention Chris's name. I did notice that. That was noticeable to me. You know, they put her name in there, which she is the mother. But I noticed they didn't say she called, you know, however you want to word it. Yeah, but it was the FBI website. You can type it in right now and go there, and it's going to take you there. And I don't know. I might be wrong, but they probably got a few phone calls this morning to try to get that straight at least. I don't know that, but I just know if it was my child, I would. You know, and I'm sure they're probably tired of hearing from Seth. But yeah, when you kind of put the wrong date on the FBI website, I don't even know what to say to it. I don't even know what to say. It's like, what in the hell is wrong with this? Let's just hope it's a typo and they correct it. And I mean, we know it's a typo because we know that's not when he went missing. We know it's a typo. But I hope somebody wasn't just sloppily sitting there not paying attention, because what Sebastian deserves, he deserves attention. He deserves time. And it don't need to be slung on somebody's desk. I don't care who they are. And somebody just type up any old thing and go on about their day. Yeah, the one place he said, what they say, he was 14 and now 16. I mean, yeah. Y'all see why I just read it last night, right? I didn't commentate. I didn't really do anything. I'm just like, I'm going to do the recording. I'm going to put it out there. But that's all. That's it. But that's how I feel about it. I just feel like it's nothing that they couldn't have come out and said to keep his father or anybody else. There is nobody else. Nobody else is out there pounding payments or knocking on doors to get answers. You know, I just think it would have been a courtesy thing to go out, even shake his hand and say, look, you can do this. This is a public street or whatever, but there is no information. That would have been the courteous thing to do. You know, and we're still looking into it. That's it. That's all. But nothing, you know, and it's just back and forth, back and forth. It's ridiculous. So, I don't know. Y'all, I got up this morning. I'm going to go ahead and show you. I wasn't going to show you until I did a live on it. But, honey, I may not get to do a live. Let me show y'all. So, they sent me these, and I'll go ahead and do it later. Maybe I'll record it. They sent me, let me put it on. No, I'm not going to take that down. Sorry. I don't know how to make myself big. I don't know how to do that. Anyway, I don't know how to do that with that up there, and I don't want to take it down. Can y'all see this? Can you see this? Okay, y'all. This is Bernie's. And let me tell you, yummy. Pinky, come here, Pinky. You want a treat? Oh yeah. I don't know if y'all can see her or not. This is my mom's dog. I don't know if you can see her. Pinky, come up here. Come here. Come on. You want? You want a treat? I know you do, Abby. Come on. Up, jump. Come on. Ah, there you go. Let's get a little happy. You can see happy. Dance. There you go. So you can dance to the Bernie treats. Bernie, the reason that I'm telling y'all this, oh my God, they sent me a bunch of stuff and told me I could advertise it. And they sent me, look, chompers. Chompers, they sent me chompers. Okay, so the big dog, look, I woke up this morning, I want to tell you, because last night I did open, I'm like, nobody will know if I open it. Yeah, my mom's dog's going to talk to me. I'm like, nobody's going to know if I open it, and give them one, last night while I was doing my long live. Well, I forgot I had a whole nother one of these, and I set it on top of my desk. This morning I woke up, and there was puke everywhere. I'm like, oh my God, it's the same food and everything I'm feeding. And then I saw one of these and I'm like, maybe they're allergic to them. So no shade against these. These didn't do it, but I found out what happened. Let me tell you what happened. So after I got everything cleaned up and kept going and everything, I got in here and it was my son's dog. So he was laying over there and I seen the top off of the other one. The top was off. He ate the whole thing. He ate the whole thing because I opened it and you can smell it, and he ate the whole thing. So I'm like, that's why you got sick. That's why you got sick. But anyway, so Bernie's Original Omegas, that's what this is. I'll be able to tell y'all later. I was going to show y'all. So look, they sent that. I'll have the link and everything. See, I had it in paper. That's why I didn't want to do it now. But Bernie's, they sent me chompers. I want a chomper. I can have a chomper. I don't want to make no. My mom's dog will eat until you stop feeding her. Look. Okay, there you go. There you go. Happy. Dance. Dance. Right. She always will do that for me. Oh, dance. Dance. Dance again. Dance one more time. One more. I'm sorry. Dance. Dance. Come on. Dance. Good girl. So dance for your chompers. Dance for your chompers. And then they sent me, I don't know because I haven't opened it all. I haven't opened it all, y'all. Okay, here's the number. Millie, I want you to drop this link in there. 800-659-3795. And then the link is help, HELP, at Bernies, BERNIES.com. And that's where you can go. That's where you can go. So I am going to advertise them. And that's the number. It's got feeding information and stuff like that. They sent me a little bag of this. And this is Bernie's Perfect Poop. So I guess this is a digestion support supplement. You just pour a little bit in their food. It feels like, see how it's got the chicken there? It feels like chicken scratch, chicken food or something. So y'all check out Bernie's, BERNIES. And yeah, I don't really know how any of that works. You're not getting another chomper right now. That's enough. My mom's dog would eat all day if you let her. But anyway, your mom's dog ate a whole pizza once. Yeah, I had no idea. I was like, and I just had no idea. Look, here's my mom's dog. Oh my God. There's Pinky. She's trying to get up here and smell. Pinky. Hey. What do I get? I know. You want something? If I give you one more. See, I'd spoil them to death. She's so big. The vet said she needs to go on a diet. I said a diet. I'm not going to put her on no diet. I'm not going to put her on no diet. Oh, she stole Happy's. She stole Happy's. Let's see what Millie. Thank you, Millie, for putting that up. Yeah, so y'all go check that link out, and I want to advertise them. I do have some papers if I want to continue to advertise them. If anybody uses that, let me know. And I really hadn't had time to look and see all the things right now, to be honest with you. And I know we're supposed to be doing a trial, but I just saw it laying there and I thought, let me get my dog started. So, no, they haven't. It says I'm waiting on Court TV. I'm waiting on Court TV. They're supposed to notify. It's still up there. It's been up there ever since. So I'm still waiting on them. Boston's yeah, they do. They do, LG. She does. Yeah, it's going to be justice. Absolutely. And then, yeah, that baby can rest in peace. Absolutely 100. Absolutely 100. Okay, Leslie. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm all the way to the end. I mean, yeah, it's going to be justice. Absolutely. Hey, Jody. Hello, hello. I know. Why has it taken this long? Just for the sentencing, man. You know. Yeah, Court TV. Yeah, see, Court TV, I got it right here. It's still waiting. It's supposed to notify me. They hadn't let them turn the cameras on yet for whatever reason. Look at your baby. Look at your baby, Jody. Oh my gosh, so cute. So cute. I say one day I'm going to go down to the shelter and play with the animals and let y'all see it. I just love, I'm telling you, I love my animals. I do. They're more spoiled than I am. Yeah, she's rotten. Yep. I'm telling you, they are something else. They are your babies. And then I ended up, when my mom died, I ended up bringing this one home. I wasn't going to, but I couldn't not. You know, I couldn't not. And she is a sweetheart. She's a pit, but she is, look, she's the most laid back until it's food. Now, if it's food or she hears something, honey, she comes running. Other than that, you won't hear a peep out of her. She'll lay around all day. And then if I'm on a live at nighttime or something and you'll hear her, she gets up, it's like she sleeps all day and wants to get up at night. And that's when she wants to go to the bathroom. She'll go, rah, and she'll start talking. So she either wants something to eat or she wants to go out. Hey, Raymond. Hello. Good to see you. Good to see you. Y'all, before this comes on, it's already set up. If it comes on, I'm going to run in here and fix me another cup of coffee. This one, the bottom of it's got cold. So I'm going to fix me some coffee. Y'all I don't know what's taking them so long, but it's up. It's ready to go. All it's got to do is start playing. Full credit goes to Court TV. They're very good about letting us, share their stuff and do them live. And everybody welcome in. Just hit that thumbs up. I told y'all I'll be here. And here we go. Okay. Grab y'all's coffee, honey. I want to see her face.
case we'll take up is State versus Megan Bosewell, 72869. Long debate for sentencing.
I was just in time. Okay.
The pre-sentence report filed April the 4th, 2025. A jury convicted Ms. Boswell of first-degree murder in count 1, first-degree murder in perpetration of felony in counts 2 and 3. The jury sentenced her to life. The jury also convicted her in count 4 of aggravated child abuse, count 5 aggravated child neglect, count 6 tampering with evidence, count 7 through 17 false report, count 19 abuse of corpse, count 20 failure to report a death under suspicious, unusual, or unnatural circumstances. So we're here on counts 4 through 20 for sentencing today. Is the state ready to proceed?
We are, Your Honor.
Ken's ready to proceed.
Yes.
Because sentencing, the first thing that's up, the state has to vote.
Judge, how are you going to handle the pre-sentence report that we made?
Because of the nature of this case, it's going to be exhibit number 1. I normally don't make any exhibit, but I think in this case.
Fine with me.
Thanks,
So,
Judge.
somebody have a copy of it? It's not been marked up?
Yes, they
If
do.
you don't, I've got it in the file. I just got
Always.
which file it's in.
Good, we have.
Thank you, Raymond. Raymond gifted a membership. Who got that? Thank you so much, Raymond. Appreciate you. Hey, Carolyn.
General, the state having approved.
Your Honor, the state would call Sheriff Jeff Cassidy.
I don't think her dad, not her dad. I don't think her dad had anything to do with it. That's just me. But I believe, let's see.
Raise your hand, state your name, please.
I think
Solemnly swear upon testimony that
her mom is covering, and I don't know about her boyfriend. I just don't know.
Tell the court your name and where you're employed,
Jeff Cassidy, Sheriff of Sullivan County Sheriff's Office.
and how long have you been with the sheriff's office?
Been with them a total of 29 years. This is my 7th year as sheriff.
Okay, and so that.
Oh, you mean the baby's
you were
dad.
sheriff in 2020 during the time of this investigation, is that
Yes.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm gonna take you back to February 2020. Was Sullivan County the first agency to be involved in the investigation of missing child Evelyn Boswell?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me briefly how Sullivan County was, how the investigation started?
Missing child at first, and then once we found out that the last time the baby was saw was in December, we knew it was already behind the curve there. We was probably 2 months away from utilizing the resources that we needed to rescue or recover baby Evelyn.
Okay. How old were you told Evelyn was the time the investigation began?
15 months.
Okay. What was your role in the investigation?
Of course, as a lead agency, I always stay in contact and communication with all my detectives and everybody that was responded to this scene and responded to all the tips across pretty much the region. So, I was constantly in communication with TBI, FBI, and my detectives.
Okay. If you had to give an approximate number, how many Sullivan County employees do you think were tasked with working this investigation?
Aside from my executive staff, which is about 14, we had probably an additional 40 worked around the clock just on this case.
Okay. When you say around the clock, was there 24/7 coverage
Yes, ma'am.
of this? And are we talking about from the day she was reported missing until the day that she was found?
Yes, ma'am.
So approximately 18 days.
Yeah, from about February 18th to March 6th, I looked through our records, and just overtime hours alone on this case was 740 hours.
Okay. And that's employees working their regular shifts plus overtime.
Plus overtime.
Okay. So let me ask this first. Did Sullivan County end up requesting the assistance from other agencies?
Yeah, this was a unique case. Normally we work most cases on our own, but we had to pull resources from the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, Federal Bureau of Investigation, Virginia State Police, SBI,
What is the SBI?
State Bureau of Investigation, and then we had Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, and then multiple local or regional jurisdictions up in North Carolina and other states, Middle Tennessee.
Okay. And is that essentially from following tips that were coming in?
Yeah, anything that came through, we followed every lead, tried to look into everything that was brought to the VCC, which is the Virtual Command Center through Tennessee Bureau of Investigation.
And is the virtual command center, that's where the tips would come in to decide how to then send them back out to be investigated?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. With these different agencies and with Sullivan County, what types of resources were you able to, what did you utilize to try to find this baby?
We utilized every resource that I've ever even been involved in that was at our disposal. I mean,
Yeah, he still remains unknown. It's unclear. Let's just put it that way.
Type of information that may lead to the recovery of Evelyn. We utilized everything the TBI and FBI provided us with, just anything that was at our disposal. We probably used more resources for this than anything I can ever remember.
We know that one of the stories, false reports that the defendant gave was that a person by the name of Ethan Perry had Evelyn. What did you have to do in regards to following that lead? What resources were used?
Yeah, he was in the military in Louisiana, from what I remember, and we had to send some detectives up there as well.
Okay. And we know another story that she gave.
Thank you, Raymond. Thank you so much for your support, honey. You have a good day.
Is that a lead that you also use resources to follow?
Yeah, United States Marshal, I left that out. United States Marshals helped us out on that one in Mendota.
Okay. She also told you that Angela Bosewll, her mother, had Evelyn at some point. Did you follow that lead?
Yes, we worked extensively on that one. We thought that she may have had custody of baby Bosewll, so we that went into North Carolina, and I think the dive team went into the ponds over there as well.
So in preparation for today's hearing, did you were asked to review Sullivan County records regarding this investigation, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And the records that you reviewed, were they all maintained by the sheriff's office?
Yes, ma'am, just the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office.
And the purpose of those was to come up with the manpower that was used,
Yes, ma'am.
to get an approximate amount of manpower and overtime hours, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
What if the defendant had told the truth on day one?
Yeah,
Objection causes speculation.
I can ask you a different way. Would you have found Evelyn if the defendant had told the truth on day one?
Objection
Yes.
causes speculation.
Sustained. Yeah, you need to reframe it. Too wrong with it.
If you had known that Evelyn was dead on day one, would that have changed the way you conducted your investigation?
absolutely.
Okay. Would all of these resources have been used?
No, ma'am.
Were you aware of community involvement during the time of this investigation, the 18 days of investigation?
Yeah, extremely. They really provided us a lot of additional resources that not criminal justice related, just like they brought us food to the office so we could, eat and still work. And they all pulled together during that time and just showed tremendous outpouring support for our entire agency. And, across the nation, really, this was a national recognized case. So the people around here in the community, they started Evelyn's Army, and they provided food for us daily.
Based on your own personal observations, what did the impact on the community look like to you?
Very emotional, just like my staff. I mean, everything you see, people wanted to find this baby, and that was their number one goal. And, whatever it may take, whatever it may need, whatever resource may need to be utilized, everybody was willing and able to put in their time, effort, and energy to locate Baby Evelyn. And, just like my staff, I mean, the emotional toll on them, the lack of sleep, but they never did get fatigued. They tried to send some home, and they said, no, I'm not going home. I'm going to work on this case until we find the baby.
No other questions? Please
Thank
answer
you.
any questions Mr. Scott has for you.
I don't have any questions.
Thank you. Thank you.
State will call, take the map, right? You're Matt Price, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
What is your position at the sheriff department?
I'm Lieutenant in Criminal Investigations.
And Lieutenant Price, you very familiar with the investigation involving the disappearance and death of Bosewll, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
What was your role in the investigation?
This case was assigned to me as the lead investigator with the sheriff's office. So I was the lead investigator.
And you worked, the sheriff has testified to, you worked hand in hand with numerous agencies in the investigation, including TBI, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And David Gratz at the time, also two of you
Worked
worked extensively with them, is that
Yes.
correct? You familiar with the evidence that was collected in the case, the discovery of the body of the victim, Evelyn Bosewll?
Yes.
Lieutenant Price, I'm going to hand you some photographs. I'm just going to do this one at a time so we, for a second, getting these exhibits in. I'm going to hand you the first photograph, ask you if you can show us, identify what's shown in that photo.
Yes, this is a photograph of looking inside the playhouse at the trash can where Evan was located.
And is that a true and accurate depiction
Yes.
of that scene?
That was so sad when everybody saw the pictures of the playhouse.
For this hearing?
They're showing them that to make them
I don't know if it's helpful, but that was
not forget.
trial. If that's helpful or would create confusion. You recognize what's shown in the photographs just handed to you?
Yes, I do.
What is that?
Again, this is looking inside the playhouse at the trash can after the one of the bags had been moved off the top.
Okay. Is there anything of significance that you see as you look at the trash can itself?
Yes, it appears that the items inside the trash can have been compressed.
Judge, we would make that exhibit 3 for this hearing. Okay. Lieutenant Price, would you take a look at the photographs being handed to you and ask if you can identify what's shown?
Yes, this is a picture of the inside the trash can with the blanket removed where you can see baby Evelyn's leg.
Is that the first shot or first, I guess,
Yes.
discovery of the body?
It is correct.
Judge, we would make that exhibit 4 for this hearing.
Girl, how do you think that?
Recognize what's
I can only imagine how you feel. How do you think
Yes.
I feel sometimes?
This is the trash bag that was inside the trash can where baby Evan was.
And then if it comes down to trial and seeing stuff and knowing, oh my God, I can't imagine.
With the aluminum foil and the blanket is laying beside the trash bag.
So the body's been removed from the trash.
Correct. The body's been removed from the trash bag. It's in the trash bag with trash in it.
Welcome, Kimberly. Hello,
So the body's
hello.
laying there wrapped in blankets and aluminum foil wrapped around her.
Judge, we would move to make that exhibit 5 this hearing.
That deserves a big boom. That's right. She ain't got that smirk on there and that big old bow in her hair today, does she? Wonder if she'd be letting them inmates be plaiting her hair.
Do you recognize what is shown in the photographs that's been handed to you?
Yes, I do.
And what is that? Picture of
This is.
She is the
Bonnie
rag
Jane
doll.
She was removed from the trash can, placed inside of a body bag. She's lying there with blankets wrapped around her and aluminum foil wrapped around where her head area was.
Judge, we would make that exhibit 6 to this hearing. You recognize the photo that's just been handed
If she
to
would have put her 2 little bows in her hair, they might have gave her a lighter sentence.
Uh,
I'm just saying.
Maybe Evan laying in, still wrapped in blankets laying on a body bag, with her arm exposed, showing the onesie that she was wearing.
Is that photo, that one of the photos that's taken at the time the body was recovered?
It is correct.
Judge, we would move to make that exhibit 7 to this hearing. Lieutenant Price, do you recognize what's shown in that photo?
Yes, I do.
What is that?
This is baby Evan after the blankets and aluminum foil have been removed from her body. It shows the positioning of her head and how she was laying.
You know,
when the blanket was
if
removed.
I was her family, like her mom and stuff, and everybody in that court, even them EMS people and the judge and all that, man, I could never look at another piece of aluminum foil again. I couldn't cook with it or anything. I'm just telling y'all.
Finally, Lieutenant Price, can you do one more photo and ask you?
Because I would think about what that baby went through every time, every time.
Yes, I can. This is a picture of Evelyn, one of the last known pictures. We know that when she was alive.
Judge, we would make that exhibit number 9. Thank you, Lieutenant Price. If you would answer any questions Mr. Scott has for you.
No questions, Judge.
That's all the evidence.
Judge, it's possible I'd like to make an allocution.
I would just like to say that the state of Tennessee treated me very unfair during this whole investigation. And had I had a fair trial and an impartial jury, I would have been acquitted of the murder charges.
What the
I
fuck?
would never hurt my baby, and I did not kill Evelyn. That's all.
I'm sorry. Judge, the state has, prior to this hearing, filed a notice of intent in regards to enhancing factors that we believe apply, as well as a notice of intent to seek consecutive sentencing, which is what we are asking the court to do. And we believe, based upon the seriousness of the offense, as well as the fact that Ms. Bosewll is a dangerous offender whose behavior indicates little, no regard for human life. That she had no hesitation about committing a crime in which the risk of human life was high. That this court should bring those sentences consecutive to each other. And I want to touch briefly on the enhancement factors, and primarily on the one that I think just...
I did. Do I need to call them again?
The violation of trust. Truly, I think the facts that were involved in this case, and the court, of course, consider everything that was presented and that came in at trial, as well as the photographs that been introduced to the sentencing hearing, which again, those were all part of the trial evidence as well. But the trust that Ms. Bosewll betrayed upon her daughter was just so callous. She chose herself repeatedly, time and time again, over her child. All deaths are horrible, but for a small child to die in the way that Evelyn died just shows such extreme callousness. And those photographs show you. I mean, she was discarded like a piece of common garbage. Detective Lieutenant Price testified to, it looks like the body has been compressed, pushed down in the trash can, so we can fit more trash, more garbage on top of a child. But probably the most hurtful and severe part of this whole and painful part of this is the fact that all that occurred at the hands of the one person that she should have been able to rely upon and trust to protect her own mother. But Megan didn't do that. Megan repeatedly chose Megan. Megan chose her life. Megan chose living in the big house out by the lake. Megan chose going to the movies. She chose going to Blowing Rock, going to Gatlinburg, again and again and again, over her own daughter. In order for the court to find
I should be bringing it up.
that the defendant was a dangerous offender and apply,
Hold on, let me try it again.
there are two things that the case law has said the court has to find. One is that it relates to the severity of the crime. And I can think of nothing that would be any easier than to relate consecutive sentencing to the facts of this case. And what Ms. Bosewll did. I mean, not only did she murder her own child and then go about her own life, but then once law enforcement was finally brought into the case, not because of her, not because she did anything, but because it finally got reported by her dad. Well, then she manipulates law enforcement, it manipulates the community by continuing to lie over and over and over again, causing extraordinary resources that have to be involved for weeks trying to find this child in the hopes that she's alive. And then even after that, even after she finally coughs up the fact that her child is dead, she continues to lie about not knowing where she is. When all along, she's sitting there stuffed upside down in a trash can in her childhood playhouse. So I think it's very easy for this court to find that the severity of this crime and her suffocating her own child, putting her in a trash can, and then repeatedly lying about it to cover it up relates to the severity of the crime. The second finding this court has to make is that it was necessary that consecutive sentencing is necessary to protect the public from further crimes. And I provided the court, as well as Mr. Scott, with the case of State v. Taylor, which was a case in which a small child had been beaten to death. And then the mother basically delayed in calling 911, which eventually resulted in the child dying because she didn't receive any medical attention. And the court in that case found that the dangerous offender classification was satisfied because the defendant had demonstrated extreme callousness towards the health and welfare of the victim, and the results were fatal. Well, Judge, I really, it does not get any more callous than what the defendant did in this case. You know, she turned her back, she turned her life, she turned her trust away from her own child. Evelyn got in the way of the life Megan Bosewell wanted to live, and so she eliminated that problem. It truly does not get any more callous than that. So the statement submits that both those factors are met and that the court should impose consecutive sentencing. I've already touched on the element as far as trust being involved in the enhancing factor. And then sitting here listening to Ms. Boswell's rather brief allocution, I think it's also right for the court to consider the fact that she sits here today in this courtroom still having absolutely no remorse and taking no responsibility for the death of her child. Once again, she wants to make all of us victims in the case, make herself a victim. Sheriff's office, I guess, should be issuing an apology to her for the way she's just been unfairly treated during this whole process. Judge, Miss Boswell was not treated unfairly. Her child was treated unfairly. Her 15-month-old child never had a chance because of the one person who should have protected her.
He got that right.
For that reason,
she wasn't treated unfairly. Her child was treated unfairly. That's the best thing I've heard anybody say.
In the remaining counts that she has to be sentenced on, and we would ask that they be run consecutive. Judge. Thank you.
Judge, I guess I'll try to address this in several through Mr. Harper did maybe in the backwards fashion. Ms. Boswell had no prior criminal history when this case started, when the investigation started. At some point, she was convicted of a reckless driving B misdemeanor in Washington County, I think in February of 2020. That's the only criminal history she comes to this court. She's been in jail since she was 18 years old. She will be in jail if this court were to sentence her to.
All right, she's been in jail, J. Marie, since she was 18. That's what he just said.
She'll be in jail until she's 69 years old. So the court then has to determine, at that point, is she going to be a threat to society? Society needs to be protected for 69-year-old Megan Boswell.
He said she'd be 69 if she got paroled. Yeah, nobody cared.
The court should, I guess first the court has to consider the length of the sentence.
She's leaner my ass. Her baby didn't get leaner
The
sentence.
court should impose
Leaner abuse.
the sentences.
There ain't no leaner abuse, but you know what I mean.
Is necessary. So the court's-
Her baby didn't get to live her life. Shut up now.
Here. She's serving a life sentence. She will be eligible for parole at 69 years old. So how much more do you need? Essentially, the state asks you to sentence her to life without parole. That's what they want. And we have addressed that issue already in a manner of speaking. I guess, practice law 25 years, not the only jury sentencing I've ever done. But the jury had the opportunity, after hearing all these facts, to consider whether to sentence her to life without parole or life with parole. They sentenced her to life with parole. And I know you're not bound by that on these other counts, but I think in fairness and in deference to that jury, we have to give some respect to what determination they made. And they were aware of all the other charges. Obviously, they heard the guilt phase and those were convicted. So I think that is important to consider. She's eligible for probation on all the other charges. The court has to make a determination whether or not those sentences should be suspended or served. The court has to make a determination whether, if they are served, how they're served, consecutive or concurrent. As it relates to the dangerous offender who society has to be protected from, I think the case law is quite clear. Not every person convicted of first-degree murder and another felony is going to fall into that category. Normally, in a lot of the cases you see multiple victims, multiple acts. Here, all those things kind of go together. And I guess the other thing we have to talk about is what counts merged together in a sentence. I would suggest, of course, that the murder counts merged together for one count. That the child abuse and child neglect counts should merge. And that all of the following false reports should merge. Because I sent a case to you yesterday. State versus Smith, 436 Southwest 3rd, 751.
Did you hear her a while ago, Annabella?
Supreme Court decided that 2014. It talks about cases just like this. Each of these cases, these interviews were basically a continuation of the other interviews. And based on the rule of leniency, the court found that even though in that case interviews were made over multiple days with different officers, just in this case, that they had to merge. And that's what I think should happen here, is all those counts should merge. And I guess finally, I want to address what Mr. Harper said about Ms. Boswell's comments.
You need to rewind it a little bit. That little biatch just got up there and it's unbelievable.
But I think she's entitled to maintain her defense. She doesn't have to come in here for purposes of sentencing and somehow take responsibility. The law doesn't require that. That's not one of the factors to consider for consecutive sentencing. That's not one of the factors to consider for length of sentence. The defendant has a right to maintain their innocence. And to hold that against them and somehow sentence them to more jail time because they don't come in here and say, I did it. That violates the process. It violates the right to trial by jury, the right to appeal. So I would suggest to the court that the appropriate sentence here should be bottom end of the range. The sentences should run concurrent, and ultimately she should be left with a chance of parole when she's 69 years old. However, that is structured.
Court will be in recess for 15 minutes. Hello, Donna. I'm giving them a chance to get out and be quiet, but are you kidding me? What did y'all think of Megan getting up there? Let me see if I don't understand it. I'm gonna stop it real quick. Let me see if I can go back.
I would just like to say that the state of Tennessee treated me very unfair during this whole investigation. And had I had a fair trial and an impartial jury, I would have been acquitted of the murder charges. I would have never hurt my baby, and I did not kill Evelyn.
Y'all, I don't get it. I don't get it. She didn't speak during the trial. Yeah. Yeah. No.
Judge, the state is, prior to this hearing, filed a notice of intent.
And she wants to blame it on the jury. Honey, don't blame nobody but yourself.
Notice
You knew that baby was gone. Listen, Linda.
consecutive sentencing, which is what we are asking.
I hope that judge is so disgusted with her.
And,
Listen,
we believe
even if she did not
the seriousness
do
of the
it,
offense,
she knew that baby was gone all that time. It was not even reported gone. She was out lollygagging around doing all the things.
This is a dangerous offender whose behavior indicates little.
I like this
no
man
regard
right
for
here.
human life. She had no hesitation about committing a crime, which is the risk of human life.
I'm gonna let y'all listen to him again. I like him.
Sentences consecutive to each other. And I want to touch briefly on the enhancement factors, and primarily on the one that I think just screams out in this case, which is the violation of trust.
They definitely got it right. This is one time they
Truly, I think
absolutely
the
have
facts
nothing to thank they didn't get right, because they got it right, honey.
in this
And you
case,
know what?
of course,
She should have did what she did in the trial, not even trying to speak for herself or her daughter. She didn't have, she went up there to try to save her ass today. Why? She'll probably be dead and gone by that time anyway, just of old age, I'm just saying. Just
Trust
saying.
that Miss
Why go up there
Bosewll
today?
upon her daughter.
She was laughing and giggling and all the things here a couple of months ago, right?
She chose herself repeatedly.
I like him. He says she chose herself. You got that right.
All deaths are horrible.
Y'all, they're on a break right now.
A small child.
For those coming in, if you don't mind, please hit that thumbs up. And I'm going to let y'all listen to him, what he said. And then the defense will try to defend her
Those
again.
photographs show you. I mean, she was discarded like a piece of common garbage. Detective Lieutenant Price testified to, it looks like the body has been compressed, pushed down in the trash can, so we can fit more trash, more garbage on top of a child. But probably the most hurtful and severe part of this whole and painful part of this is the fact that all that occurred at the hands of the one person that she should have been able to rely upon and trust to protect her own mother. But Megan didn't do that. Megan repeatedly chose Megan. Megan chose her life. Megan chose living in the big house out by the lake. Megan chose going to the movies. She chose going to Blowing Rock, going to Gatlinburg, again and again and again, over her own daughter. In order for the court to find that the defendant was a dangerous offender and apply consecutive sentencing, there are two things that the case law has said the court has to find. One is that it relates to the severity of the crime. And I can think of nothing that would be any easier than to relate consecutive sentencing to the facts of this case and what Ms. Bosewll did. I mean, not only did she murder her own child and then go about her own life, but then once law enforcement was finally brought into the case, not because of her, not because she did anything, but because it finally got reported by her dad. Well, then she manipulates law.
See, her dad recorded her. It was thanks to her dad
over and over
that the little bitch is in jail.
Causing extraordinary resources to have to be involved for weeks trying to find this child in the hopes that she's alive. And then even after that, even after she finally coughs up the fact that her child is dead, she continues to lie about not knowing where she is. When all along, she's sitting there stuffed upside down in the trash can in her childhood playhouse. So I think it's very easy for this court to find that the severity of this crime and her suffocating her own child, putting her in a trash can, and then repeatedly lying about it to cover it up relates to the severity of the crime. The second finding this court has to make is that it was necessary that consecutive sentencing was necessary to protect the public from further crimes. And provided the court, as well as Mr. Scott, with the case of State v. Taylor, which was a case in which a small child had been beaten to death. And then the mother basically delayed in reporting, calling 911, which eventually resulted in the child dying because she didn't receive any medical attention. And the court in that case found that the dangerous offender classification was satisfied because the defendant had demonstrated extreme callousness towards the health and welfare of the victim, and the results were fatal. Well, Judge, I really, it does not get any more callous than what the defendant did in this case. You know, she turned her back, she turned her life, she turned her trust away from her own child. Evelyn got in the way of the life Megan Bosewll wanted to live, and so she eliminated that problem. It truly does not get any more callous than that. So the statement submits that both those factors are met and that the court should impose consecutive sentencing. I've already touched on the element as far as trust being involved in an enhancing factor. And then sitting here listening to Ms. Boswell's rather brief allocution, I think it's also right for the court to consider the fact that she sits here today in this courtroom still having absolutely no remorse and taking no responsibility for the death of her child. Once again, she wants to make all of us victims in the case, make herself a victim. Sheriff's office, I guess, should be issuing an apology to her for the way she's just been unfairly treated during this whole process. Judge, Miss Boswell was not treated unfairly. Her child was treated unfairly. Her 15-month-old child never had a chance because of the one person who should have protected her, For that reason, the state is asking you to maximize her sentence in the remaining counts that she has to be sentenced on. And we would ask that they be run consecutive, Judge. Thank you.
Judge, I guess I'll try to address this in somewhat the way Mr. Harper did, maybe in a backwards fashion. Ms. Boswell had no prior criminal history when this case started, when the investigation started. At some point, she was convicted of a reckless driving B misdemeanor in Washington County, I think in February of 2020. That's the only criminal history she has in this court. She's been in jail since she was 18 years old. She will be in jail if this court were to sentence her at the low end of everything, and not run it consecutive. She'll be in jail until she's 69 years old. So the court then has to determine, is she, at that point, is she going to be a threat to society? Society needs to be protected from 69-year-old Megan Boswell. The court should, I guess first the court has to consider the length of the sentence. She's a range one offender as to each count. The court should impose I think the sentence is, short of a sentence is as necessary, so the court's discretion.
I just checked, Jay Marie. They still haven't come back. Let me just double check again. It's but it's 15 minutes. Excuse me. They're coming back now, I think. They look like they're getting ready to come back. Yeah, I see somebody in there now. I've been checking on my phone. I'm like, when are they coming back? It's been 15 minutes. See, that's what I was hoping. At least you get life without parole. But, you know, I don't know. I don't know. That judge looks kind of like he's got his mind made up. They're on a little break, Donna. They're just fixing to come back. They took a little 15-minute break. But they're coming back. I see them stirring around. Have a good day always. Love you, honey. Yes, Megan, let me, if you go back just a little bit. Sorry. Yeah, Megan, she got on the stand just a little bit ago, and she, fake is all get out. Sorry, crap. I'm afraid they're fixing to come back. Keep an eye on it, Millie, and I'll try to go back and find it. Hold on.
The court should, I guess first, the
No.
court has to consider the length of the sentence.
Judge States, prior to this hearing, filed a notice of intent in regard.
Did I miss it?
The facts.
I would just like to say that the state of Tennessee treated me very unfair during this whole investigation. And had I had a fair trial and an impartial jury, I would have been acquitted of the murder charges. I would have never hurt my baby, and I did not kill Evelyn.
So, yeah, what do y'all think about that? Yeah, she's got chains on her feet. She on a chain gang. Clinga, clinga. Cling, cling. I looked up, I forgot where it's at. I don't know if it's in different states or not, but I was like, do they still have the chain gang? Wherever I was looking that day, they didn't, but I think they outlawed that stuff. Maybe they should bring that back. Yeah, it's on. I'm waiting on. Okay, there we go. Couldn't hear the sound, could we? Thank you for that. Yeah, evil. Yes, she did it first. She did them a couple months ago in court, didn't she, with them little pretty bows and trying to look like she was still 18.
Determining the appropriate sentence
I'm going to make this big, okay?
for these offenses. The court has considered the evidence presented at the trial, the this sentencing hearing. Pre-sentence report filed April 4th, 2025, more than 10 days ago. The principles of sentencing and arguments made as sentencing alternatives, the nature and characteristics of the criminal conduct involved, the evidence and information offered by the parties on mitigating and enhancing factors, any statistical information provided by the administrative officer of the courts as to sentencing practices for similar offenses in Tennessee, located at www.tncourts.gov, and any statement the defendant has made on her own behalf about sentencing and the defendant's potential for rehabilitation or treatment. I'm not sure if it was agreed, but the defendant's a range 1 standard offender under Tennessee felony classification laws. And what that means, the aggravated child abuse and neglect charges are Class A felonies, and as a range 1 offender, those would carry somewhere between 15 and 25 years. The tampering with evidence is a Class C felony. The range would be between 3 and 6 years. False reports are Class D felonies, with the range 1 being 2 to 4 years. The abuse of the corpse is a Class E felony, and failure to report death under suspicious, unusual, and unnatural circumstances, also a Class E felony. Those Class E felonies for range 1 would be a range of 1 to 2 years. In determining where the appropriate sentence should be within that range, while not mandatory any longer, the enhancement factors and the mitigating factors are advisory for the court. The state has urged in its filing state's urged number 3, enhancing factor 3, that the offense involves more than one victim. I think for purposes of this case and all the proof that I heard, I can understand how that argument could be made, but I'm not going to find that enhancing factor number 3 applies. Enhancing factor number 4 is urged by the state. A victim of the offense was particularly vulnerable because of age, physical or mental disability. I think that will apply. Testimony was that baby Evelyn was, everybody keeps saying 15 months old. I think she was 15 months old when she was found. My recollection of proof was that she was approximately 13 months old when she went missing. Is that wrong?
Her approximate age at death was 15 months old.
At death?
At death.
Okay. So she was 15 months old.
I know her mama ain't supposed to say something, but if she's so worried about it, she could speak up and you know, that would be natural.
13 months old at death. It was 15 months old. They assumed when she was reported. When they didn't know she was alive or dead.
Since she's so innocent.
So at the time of her death, she was somewhere between 13 and 15.
Yes.
The state has, and the court accepts enhancing factor number 4. Number 5 is urged by the state. The defendant treated or allowed a victim to be treated with exceptional cruelty during the commission of the offense. I don't know, and I'm not going to sit here all day and regurgitate the facts from the 11-day trial. But thinking back on the proof that I heard, there can be no more cruel act to stuff a 13 to 15-month-old baby wrapped in blankets and aluminum foil head first into the trash can. Especially when that 13 to 15-month-old baby is your baby. So the court accepts number 5. Number 6, the personal injuries inflicted upon or amount of damage to the property was particularly great. The court accepts number 6. There's no greater injury that you can inflict on another human being than death. Enhancing factor 10 was in the filing. Defendant had no hesitation about committing a crime when the risk of human life was high. The court accepts number 10. And then 14, the defendant abused a position of private trust. And again, the relationship between mother and child, there can be no greater private trust on this earth than that. So the court accepts number 14. Those are all the enhancing factors that were urged, all the ones that the court, after having looked through them, believes applies. Next, I have to consider mitigating factors in determining the appropriate length of sentence. And again, I'm not going to read, there's 12 statutory mitigators under 40, 35, 113. I'm not going to read all of these in. The defense didn't put any arguments forward as to any mitigating factors that should apply. The court, though, is required on its own, after having read the pre-sentence report, heard the proof, to apply any factors I think are applicable. So there's at least one that could be applicable, and I'm going to talk about it for a moment. If the defendant, because of youth or old age, lacks substantial judgment in committing the offense, the proof is that she was 18 when the killing occurred. But I also have to look at, so there's no question that she was a young adult. But I also have to look at all the other proof and circumstances surrounding the case. And it became very clear to the court upon hearing the evidence that the defendant, in her mind, saw a chance to lead a different life than what she thought she was going to be leading. And quite frankly, circumstantially, from all the proof, baby Evelyn was a stumbling block to leading that life. So she made the decision to remove that stumbling block. And because that's the tenor of the proof that this court heard, I reject mitigating factor number 6. She exercised judgment. It wasn't good judgment, but she exercised judgment in doing the things that she did. So of the 12 statutory mitigators, the court doesn't find that any are applicable to this case. The 13th is any other factor consistent with the purposes of the chapter. And courts regularly, if a person comes to the court without a substantial criminal history, courts regularly include that as factor number 13. If a person comes before the court and they've had a long, productive work history, then that factors into 13. If they've had military service, those are the kinds of things that factor into 13. In this case, Ms. Boswell, she did not have a long work history. In fact, the pre-sentence report said, she stated that she'd only ever had one job in her life, and that was at the chicken shack where she was working right around the time of this killing. I am going to give her credit for not having, even though she was only 18, I'm going to give her credit for not having a substantial criminal history, either as an adult or a juvenile. So, when the court weighs all the facts that I've heard during the trial, all of the testimony that we've heard at this sentencing, when the court weighs the enhancing factors and the mitigating factors, that's how I arrive at a verdict, or not a verdict, but a sentence. I want to talk about each of these counts individually with regard to the enhancing factors. Because if an enhancing factor is part and parcel of a charge, then it can't be used as an enhancing factor. So for count 4, aggravated child abuse, the state has to prove that the defendant knowingly, by other than accidental means, treated a child under 8 years of age in such a manner as to inflict serious bodily injury. The court is of the opinion that number 4 still applies because of the tender age of the child at the time. It's one thing to be a child under 8 when you're 6 years old or 7 years old. It's quite another thing to be vulnerable because your age is still literally being counted in months. So the court finds number 4 applies. Number 5 is not an element, it applies. Number 6 applies due to the death is not an element of aggravated child abuse or aggravated child neglect. 10 and 14 apply. So the court finds that they all apply to counts 4 and 5. So the court's of the opinion in that Class A felony that the enhancing factors and the aggravated nature of this case in general take that sentence from 15 to 25 years. And when the court weighs, quite frankly, each of these enhancing factors, with the exception, number 4 has low weight because of its similarity for those 2 counts, to the charge. 5, 6, 10, and 14 have great weight. The court affords very little weight to the fact that Ms. Boswell, at 18 years of age, had no serious criminal history. So the court's of the opinion, in counts 4 and 5, that the sentence should be 25 years. The court's also of the opinion that count 5 merges into count 4. in the tampering with evidence, the court's of the opinion that all the enhancing factors should be afforded great weight. And the sentence should be 6 years. The mitigating factor, which is the court's been giving very little weight, would not bring it back down. Now, with the false report, the court's of the opinion that the enhancing factors would take that sentence from 2 up to 4 years. And again, there being only the one consideration of the mitigator, it'll be 4 years. Under the case of State versus Smith, Tennessee Supreme Court, 436 Southwest 3rd, 751, handed down in 2014. Justice Holder, I believe, delivered the opinion of the court. And the opinion of the court was that due to the principle of lenity, not leniency, that a false report, because the legislature was ambiguous as to how they think that a false report should be punished, that the unit of prosecution isn't determined by the number of individual and distinct occurrences of false statement, but that the unit of prosecution is whether a false statement was given pursuant to a particular incident or offense. At least that's the way I read it. So it wasn't that it's a continuation of the interview. It's that the incident that is in the officer's concern is the disappearance of the child. And the Supreme Court says in that case that even if you tell 16 false statements about the disappearance of that child on different days and to different people and different variations of the story, it's still one incident. It's the disappearance of the child. So count 7 through 17 all merge into one count. So they all merge, counts 8 through 17 merge into count 7. In count 19, the courts of the opinion the enhancing factors take that sentence from 1 up to 2 years. So that'll be a 2-year sentence. In count 20, and again, I'm weighing the lack of mitigators. In count 20, that sentence will be 2 years as well, for the same reason. Now, since I've already talked about merger, the courts of the opinion that counts 1, 2, and 3 would all merge into a single life sentence. So counts 2 and 3 merge into count 1. Now we'll talk about consecutive sentencing. In the state's filing, the state under 40-35-115 urged, and I think this might be a mistake, but urged number 2, that the defendant is an offender whose record of criminal activity is extensive.
And that's court's ruling. I just so clarify, it wasn't a mistake, but at the time it was filed, we would have all the false report counts. Rely on past criminal history. Obviously, since the court's found more duplicitous that doesn't exist anymore, so we're not relying on that.
The court objection. The court court also relies on enhancer number 4 from the same statute, 4035-115, that the defendant is a dangerous offender whose behavior indicates little to no regard for human life and no hesitation about committing a crime in which the risk to human life is high. Now, that's what the factor says in the statute. But it's pointed out in State versus Taylor, (2017) Westlaw 2179952), also case numbers M 2015-02142-CCA-R3-CD. It's an unpublished case, but the unpublished case references published opinions. And the most important one that it references is State versus Moore, that quotes from the main case is the Wilkerson case, 905 Southwest 2nd, 933, Tennessee Supreme Court from 1995. And the Supreme Court, in determining the appropriateness of 4035-115, enhancing factor number 4, states that in addition to what's stated in the statute, that a court must also find that a sentence, consecutive sentencing, is necessary in order to protect the public from further misconduct by the defendant, and that the terms are reasonably related to the severity of the offense. So from the facts of this case, and again, I'm not going to just keep repeating it. Everybody who sat through that trial knows the facts that came in.
I'm sorry, but I wish he would quit hauling around. That's just me. Doing a good
Testimony
job,
during the
Judge,
trial
but
was-
get on with it.
That child was suffocated. When you look at the pictures of how tightly this baby was wrapped in blankets and aluminum foil, and the mechanism of being stuffed into that trash can head first, there's no doubt in my mind that this defendant had absolutely no hesitation when she killed her daughter. And in hearing the proof during trial of how she continued to live her life, and from hearing the proof circumstantially as to why she might have done this deed, because this new boyfriend is the life that she wanted to grasp onto. It's like the state said, the house on the lake. A lifestyle that she wanted for herself. The fact that Evelyn was just in the way. and looking at all the video that we saw during the trial, this court never once saw remorse, never once saw empathy out of the defendant. So she is a dangerous offender. The circumstances surrounding the commission of this offense are absolutely aggravating. This baby couldn't care for herself. This baby had the only life this baby knew. The only way this baby could get through a day was through her mom. And I understand that the way the parole system is set up when dealing with a life conviction is that she has to serve 51 years before she's even eligible for consideration for release. And Mr. Scott asked the question during his argument, which was the right question to ask. Is Megan Bosewell at 69 years of age coming out of prison a risk to society? And the only conclusion that I can come to after hearing the proof in this case, seeing the evidence in this case, seeing how utterly unconcerned with the fact that she took the life of a 15-month-old child, her own child. The court has to answer that question, yes. That society does need to be protected from the evil that lurks in her heart. And then would the aggregate length of the sentence reasonably relate to the offense which she stands convicted? For the same reasons that I just said, yes. So the court finds that all those sub-factors, if you will, are met. And I want to read a passage. And I think the state may have, but I highlighted this yesterday when I read the case. In State versus Durantes, 331 Southwest 3rd, 370, at page 376, the Tennessee Supreme Court in 2001 it's found that the dangerous offender classification was satisfied where a defendant demonstrated extreme callousness toward the health and welfare of the child victim, and that the results of that callousness were fatal. It's almost as though that passage was written to describe this case. Therefore, the 25-year sentence for the merging counts of aggravated child abuse and neglect will be consecutive to the life sentence. The 6-year sentence for tampering with evidence and the 4-year sentence for false report will be concurrent with each other, but consecutive to the 25 years. And the 2-year sentences for the abuse of corpse in count 19 and count 20 will be concurrent with each other, but consecutive to the 6 years. So in counts 4 through 20. That'll be a 33-year sentence as a range 1 standard offender, consecutive to her life sentence. The court has considered probation. She's not eligible for probation on the Class A felonies. That 25 years has to be served by statute. The court has considered probation on the additional 8 years and finds that a grant of probation would depreciate the seriousness of this case, given the facts of this case, given the fact that she has shown no remorse, she has shown no empathy towards this child, her child, and probation in those counts will be denied. Mr. Scott, I believe at sidebar, you had indicated that you would like to have a transcript prepared before, in order to prepare the motions for the trial.
Yes, Judge.
I'll order that transcript, whatever order I need to sign, share, I'll do it.
Judge, I would also like to have this sentencing period as well.
Sentencing hearing will need to be typed up as well. We'll set this for status. We'll send Ms. Bosewll back to TDOC. And let's set this for a status on January 16th to see where we are on getting the transcript prepared.
That's fine. Should I waive Ms. Boswell's appearance?
Well, what I prefer her to do is appear by Zoom.
That's
If,
fine.
if she can, but if not, yes, we'll use it.
Okay.
All right. All right, that's all.
She's done. She's done with a fork in it. Done like a honey bun. She done. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Okay. Whoop. Green eyes. You gonna go visit her? I'm just kidding. Honey. Hey, Dawn. Absolutely. She got life. She ain't going nowhere. Listen, she ain't going nowhere. That's right. This baby can rest easy now. Finally, a judge did something, stood up and did the right thing. And at least I know he can lay his head down on his pillow at night and sleep. That's the one thing. And if he's married, his wife can be proud of him and his kids. Lord have mercy, he did the right thing, in my opinion. Somebody who was not scared. He tried to say, I'm going to give her a pass for not having a record. I thought to myself, well, she did have kind of a little bit, although it wasn't nothing, so green eyes. I told you, I was just playing. I love you, green eyes. But you know what they need to do, honey? She's the rag doll. She's going to be the rag doll. She went in there with all them pretty little bows in her hair. She didn't look like no little doll today, but honey, they're going to have her as a little rag doll in there and little pigtails or they're going to have her giving all the little pigtails and stuff. I'm just saying. Oh, that baby got justice today, honey. I'm glad. Judge Goodwin, that was his name. I just want to praise him. Oh my God, I can't hold back. He didn't hold back either. He did not hold back. He said She had no remorse ever. Not then, not now. And look, he said she was a danger to society, basically, because when he said she gets in her 60s, she's still going to be a danger. He had held no holds bars, in my opinion. And that was his own words. He said she cannot be rehabilitated. You can't rehabilitate that. Not even at 60 years old or 69 or 61. You can't rehabilitate that. You know, it's not just a sentence on the dang paper. It's from the bench, from the judge to her. Honey, it's done. She's done. I do too, respectfully, Millie. When a judge says there's no remorse, that tells you everything you need to know. You don't really even need to know nothing else. I'm sure there's going to be commentary on this all day and all night and probably in the days to come. But when a judge says that, when he loudly says it, you know, because remorse cannot be faked. It just can't. It shows. And when she got up there on that stand, her heart was cold as ice. It wasn't even pumping. What did I say? You can't even bust a grape? That's my saying. You can't bust a grape, bitch. But that's just me. When he said she's a danger even at 60, that's very telling. Very telling. You know, because most of us think, wow, in our 60s, we grow up. You would think, you know, people change, because people can change. That kind of people never changes. That's my opinion. They just can't. I would ask y'all, do y'all agree with the judge? But I'm assuming everybody here agrees with the judge. Does everybody agree with the judge? Because I sure do. Yeah, I didn't see him today, but honey, I know he's at home or wherever he's at, crying happy tears. It's got to be bittersweet. But he did the right thing. Because of him, she's where she needs to be. You know. Thank you, Tam. Thank you so much. And yeah, he's a good judge. A good judge. If he is married, you know, I don't know if his mom's still alive. Everybody in his life needs to stand up and be proud of him today. I'm just saying. Evelyn's justice, it wasn't just a guilty verdict. It was in the judge standing up, fighting for that baby, standing up firm, not letting her forget that baby was wrapped in aluminum foil without going into everything and saying he wasn't going to go into everything. It showed he was disgusted. It showed in his face. But what even showed more, it showed more in her face how she didn't give a damn. So I just wanted to share that with you. God, thank y'all so much for being here and reminding me about this, because I almost forgot today was the day. So I'm glad we got to share it together. I am so happy. I am so happy. I'm going to get off of here now because, like I said, it's been like a crazy Monday. I thank you all for being here. Let me see. I'm trying to get my banner down. I don't even know where's my banner. Oh, that's actually in my comments. Huh, there we go. Now I got to get the banner down. You was on top of the banner. And let me see. One more time. Leslie, keep it real. And Raymond, thank you for the membership. I don't know who got that membership, but thank you. Thank you all so much to my mods. Thank you for anybody in the bushes. Thank you for just being here, spending time with me, just for being here for the baby. I appreciate it. And TGIF. Absolutely, green eyes. Absolutely. But I love y'all. I will see y'all later tonight, probably on something. And I don't know what. I don't really even know what's going on out in them streets. But I'm tickled shitless right now. I am. I'm sorry. I can't help it. I don't usually gloat over somebody's pain, but honey, she ain't got no pain in her body. And I don't look at it as I'm gloating over somebody's pain. I am celebrating that justice came for that innocent, like that judge kept saying, innocent baby, that innocent victim in all of this. That's who we're concerned with. So on your way out, y'all throw some pink hearts up and praying hands, and I love y'all, and I will see you in the streets, YouTube streets, that is. See you later. Bye.